Well, I'm in my new ranching chair. Got my Glock 20C here just for a little bit of visual stuff to look at, as they say. And I'm actually going to do another rant video. I know I've been out of the scene for a while. I've even got the magazine right here should any devious bad people come into the room. Yes, I'm doing another rant because people are questioning. I have been out of the scene so long. I look different, I'm sure. I've got my Spiegel Grove from the USS Spiegel Grove down there in Key Largo, Florida. Fantastic dive. That's where I went on vacation a few weeks ago. But this video from the title you should have gained is going to be about this entire clusterfuck that I've not been talking about because I've quite honestly been lazy. I mean, look at me. But I've been lazy and I've not really addressed these glaring issues that have been going on in the community. And I'm going to talk about both sides of the issue because, honestly, I'll tell you right now, if you think this is going to be some racist video, you're probably right. If you think this is going to be some cop sphincter-licking video, you're probably wrong. It's not going to be either of those. I'm not going to go on the typical, they be racist, they be out to get all the black people. And trust me, we're going to have some racist fun. You know it's all in good humor. And trust me, if you think that this isn't actually happening and I'm just stereotyping shit, you know that you're wrong, you're just being politically correct and lying about it. And on the other side of it, I'm not going to do any of this, the regular cop asshole sucking that I keep hearing. Oh, they put their lives on the line. Oh, thank Jabez for that. It's not going to happen. I'm going to try to give you this to you as truthfully as possible. And I'll tell you, I've been out of the loop for so long. Don't expect me to remember all the names of the people that for each situation. Don't expect me to remember the exact details. I do remember the broad situations enough that hopefully you understand what I'm talking about, where I'm coming from. So, like I said, both sides of this issue, cops versus regular citizens, I won't say cops versus citizens because cops are citizens. That's where they get a little confused sometimes. Like, for example, I could say military people versus citizens because that's actually a distinction that is real. Until they're retired, then they're citizens again. Yes, we do think there's further service, but they're the same status, whereas police are always citizens. This cops versus citizens issue, I'm going to look at both sides of the issue here. So let's start with the one, obviously, that everybody knows about, and that is the citizen side, how they've been misbehaving. And I'll come out and say this right now. All this shit that's been going on, all these people that have been dying, all these riots and all that stuff, I don't think for a second, I don't buy the narrative for a motherfucking second that it has anything to do with race. Not one fucking iota. And the funniest thing is, you'll see people make this argument all the time that it has something to do with race because, I mean, look at the numbers. More black people are arrested than white people in percentage-wise. Now, here is going to be a fucking theory that might just throw you for a loop. But just imagine, just put on your thinking cap for a moment. Imagine that perhaps black people do commit more crimes. Say that actually is a real thing. And it could be for a multitude of reasons. It could be the poverty where they come from. It could be their upbringing. You have to be following along that's kind of actually what happens. The numbers don't lie. Am I saying that's some sort of gene disposition, something with their DNA, where I'm racist because I think that these people are just predisposed to commit crime? No, I'm just telling you the facts. There's probably legitimate reasons. Well, there's not any legitimate reasons for all the chimping out that's been happening. Oh, he said chimp out. That's a racist term. Well, let's take a moment to think about that right there for a second. You take a look at some of these videos from, like, Ferguson in Baltimore, and honestly, I'm totally honestly, tell me that doesn't look like a scene from Planet of the Apes. And you could say that, oh, it's because of the color of their skin. Oh, they look like monkeys, this and that. I'm not even saying it from that. That is actually really racist. What I am saying is, it looks like animals that escaped the fucking zoo. It looks like, I believe the show was Hey Arnold. Now, there's a 90s throwback for you. Hey Arnold, where that kid Stinky, was it? He let the animals out of the zoo, and they did that. They chimped out. That's what they did. They roamed free on the streets. That was the thing. He was going to go release the animals from the zoo. He did, I believe, at the end of the episode, and that's what they did. They roamed crazy. So it's just like somebody opened a zoo. These protests are absolutely insane. Seeing all this stuff going on and saying that this is, and it's an absolute joke because they're saying that it's in memory of all these different people that died. that's bullshit. You know that they are just taking advantage of an opportunity. That's why they're smashing out windows. That doesn't have anything to do with remembering people or paying their respects. You know, all this looting, all this burning down the building, that's nonsense. And, you know, the thing is, what's so stupid about it is people like Martin Luther King, they had actual real protests that actually did things, and it didn't turn into this new mindset of we need to burn cities down and we need to do this and that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Sorry about that. I had to do the jump cut because apparently the battery's dying on the camera. Now the flash won't turn back on because the battery's too low. Whatever. Anyway, so to continue the video, now in a bit of different lighting, I was talking about things like Martin Luther King, how we've already had protests that actually got things done, and it didn't result in this new age rioting and burning down the cities and just absolutely going bananas. It's insane. And for stupid reasons. This is kind of blending into the second half of the video, where it's not always stupid reasons. Trust me, there's no justification for any of this crazy bullshit that they're doing. But there are some things where I understand why people would be upset. Not that it's okay to do this, but in the second half of the video, we'll discuss the other major players here, the law enforcement side. Seeing these people do this is just insane, because for a good portion, let's take a specific issue. It's about time I got into a specific issue. Let's go all the way back to Trayvon Martin. And I'll give my thoughts on each one of these cases. I won't make it too long because I don't want to bore you, and I don't want this video to be too utterly long, even though I'm getting back into things. I got a new steam going. Let's go all the way back to Trayvon Martin. That, in my case, unquestionably was a justified shooting. And you have pictures to prove it, various injuries that George Zimmerman had on his head, and you'll get people that say, well, it doesn't look like the injuries were this and that bad, so it was probably murder. If it was probably murder, the guy is innocent. You may not realize that, but there's a big scale, and the prosecutor in or not the prosecutor, the defense attorney in that case, Mark O'Mara, something like that, had a great picture, a great diagram that explained this, that was like a 25-segment diagram where there was different levels of reasonable doubt that you're at. Like, for example, if you think that he's innocent, then you have to vote not guilty. If you think he might not be innocent, you have to vote not guilty. And it gets all the way down to you're pretty sure that he's guilty, that's still not guilty. You can't be pretty sure. You need to be beyond a reasonable doubt. So if there's a doubt in your mind that, you know, maybe those cuts didn't look that bad, doesn't matter. It needs to be beyond a reasonable doubt, okay? If you, for example, had video evidence of somebody murdering somebody, which we'll get to later in the video, that would probably be beyond a reasonable doubt. So in the Trayvon Martin case, completely unjustified. Then you look at, what's his name, I believe, Michael Brown, the one in Ferguson. Again, very misplaced anger there because that was a justified shooting. The gentle giant that was unarmed and shot in the street. Where does this idea of armed and unarmed come from? That's what I don't know. Did we all of a sudden forget that people have been killing other people without arms for zillions of years, or only 6,000 years if you're one of those young Earth Christians? Right now, I'm just joking around there. But they've been doing it for zillions of years without any sort of arms. In fact, fists are one of the leading causes, and not assault rifles, fists are one of the leading causes of homicide deaths. So this whole idea that an unarmed individual is any less dangerous than an armed individual is utter nonsense. And it was a justified shooting. Whether or not these people will ever admit that, it doesn't matter. You see the reaction you get either way. It doesn't seem like they really care at a certain point. It doesn't seem, I mean, you can have it explained to them that, you know, if it's not beyond a reasonable doubt that it was a murder, then you have to vote not guilty. And when you have somebody that had just robbed a convenience store, strong-armed rob without a weapon, see how dangerous you can be without a weapon? If you have somebody that strong-armed robbed a convenience store without a weapon, come charging at you in the middle of the street, yeah, you're probably going to get shot. And people say, well, don't charge. at a police officer. Here's one for you. Don't charge at anybody that you don't want to get shot. Because where do these people get the idea that police officers have some sort of magical thing where you're not supposed to do this to them, but you can do it to other fellow citizens? That's utter bullshit. But again, as you can see, I'm just kind of chomping at the bit getting to the second half of the video, because that's the one I'm currently more passionate about, because I think it's the one that most people get wrong and are misguided about. But where else are we going to go on this? Let's just take, I don't have to hit every single case. Let's take one from the other side of the aisle. The one in New York City, I forget the gentleman's name. The one that had the Lucy cigarettes and was murdered by some cops on the street. This is one that I believe outrage was justified for, and there were a few small pockets of protests in New York City, which is weird because that would be the one that you would think would have the most protests, because that was murder. That was clear on camera, no doubt about it, murder. And people will I want to get into the other side of this issue, but I'll hold off for a second. But there's no doubt about that. That is something to be upset about, and that is something that we need to have a legitimate conversation in this country about. Yeah, there's too many people on the cop worshipping side that don't understand this. So, my view on that case is it was clear murder. There was one that happened not too far back, I'd say 2 months ago or so, somewhere in that range, where, again, another black man was having an interaction with a cop. He decided to run away, and don't even get me started on the, well, if you just didn't resist, you wouldn't get shot, because cops shoot unarmed, non-resisting people all the time, despite the fact that you might not have heard of it. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. Basically, what happened was, I believe somebody failed to signal, or he had a broken taillight or something, and they were outside in what looked like a park, and the cop, the black man turned to run away, and the cop murdered him by shooting him in the back, I think 8 times, and the people still try to justify the cop. Again, we'll get to that in a moment. That's another one where I believe the outrage would be justified, but it does not justify the actions of all this. Again, shimping out, the burning, the looting, the murdering, that's just total nonsense. Most of the people that are doing that wouldn't know the name, face, any bit of the story of this person if they had to. They are taking advantage. They are taking advantage of an opportunity, and it is absolutely ludicrous. And it happens for all sorts of things. It happens during natural disasters, too. People steal supplies that they have no use for in a survival situation. They'll go steal like 40 bottles of Jack Daniels. They see an opportunity and they capitalize, and I think that is completely vile. I don't think what they're doing should be put up with. And I don't have any problem with the police that want to control the riots in that case, as long as you don't get people like the fine officer that posted an AR, swept a crowd with an AR and said, "I will fucking kill you, I will fucking kill you." No, you should go to jail for a very long time for saying that. And with that, because I'm chomping so much at the bit, let's get to the other side of this issue, where a great deal of problem lies. Like I said, I think the blame is shared equally. Don't ever let me think that you're just one of them anti-cop fellows. These people are acting like animals, and these fine policemen, you should be doing everything in their power to support them. No, I believe the people that are acting like animals totally inexcusable. However, the cop side, what they're doing is completely inexcusable as well. And in fact, they're causing a lot of these issues with the way that they act. They are being absolutely militarized police, unacceptable in this country. And the problem is they are backed by their fellow cops. It's unreal what's going on in this country with that, and it's pissing me off because it doesn't ever stop. Let's take a look at the Lucy cigarettes one. People say, well, if only he didn't stop resisting. I understand that. However, you need to understand that cops, I would much rather have that gentleman get away with, escape from the police with his violent, not paying the state's coffer tax, instead of you murdering him on the street. There is no way you can possibly justify that. And the most vile thing that I see when people try to justify that is the dancing around of the real issues. And I belong to a forum where we get these cops that do it all the time, where they say, well, it wasn't a chokehold, and it was approved, it was a seatbelt. The fucking medical examiner said it was murder. It was a homicide. One human killed another human. And to see not even an indictment in that case is fucking absurd. These cops need to be held accountable for the shit they do, like when they chucked a fucking flashbang into a toddler's crib and maimed it for life. They need to be held accountable. And the thing that drives me insane is they're not. It goes the other direction. This thin blue line that people always talk about, the cops, it's like a fucking thick blue blindfold. They will blindly defend the other cops out there just because they're in the same profession. And you'll see so many people uttering the same bullshit. It's a dangerous job, this and that. Yes, it is, and you chose it knowing the risks. And if you can't perform your duties while upholding the citizens' rights, what you're supposed to be doing, go be a fucking librarian. Stop with that crap. It pisses me off more than anything how much cop asshole sucking I see nowadays. I don't give two flying fucks if it's a dangerous job and this and that. You fucking chose it. Do it while protecting every single one of the citizens' rights. It just even happened today. These people don't get it when Texas just gained their open carry bill. And you see people saying, well, I think cops should just be able to go up and ask for IDs. That man carrying a gun might be a criminal. Or here's another fucking possibility. He might not be a criminal. That's why we have things like reasonable suspicion before you get to ask for an ID of a crime. Somebody carrying a gun, which they're allowed to do by law, is not reasonable suspicion. And then you have these fucking cop unions that say, oh, but that's going to make it a hard job for our officers. Having to fucking follow the law and not violate citizens' rights is going to make it a hard job for the cops? Then you've got shitty cops. Plain and simple. Stop fucking doing this shit. The fucking cops that broke the guy's neck in the back of the fucking police van. That was another good one that everybody's defending. Oh, well, you know, there's nothing they could have done. Bullshit. They knew exactly what the fuck they did. Luckily, and I'm fucking amazed as anybody, they're actually going to go to trial for this. You know, murdering somebody. Just like any other citizen would do. And you still get the cops to say, well, you know, a dangerous job, this, that. Shut up. Realize that your people make mistakes, and it's only a few bad apples. It's far too many fucking bad apples, if you ask me. If I had my employees, which remember, the cops are our employees, the taxpayers, if I had my employees and 99% of them did a good job, that'd be fucking horrific. I wouldn't buy from fucking eBay if somebody had 99% positive feedback, because that's terrible. That means out of 1,000 people, 10 people are going to end up dead because of a few bad cops. Get the fuck out of here. And I guarantee it's worse. It's not 99% of cops that are good. I'll tell you that right now. Just in Saratoga County, which is a county not too far from here, let me tell you what they've done recently. Slappy, which I can't even remember if I made a video on Slappy, which some fucking pig with a Napoleon syndrome slapped some guy up the side of the head because he didn't get his way. Let me tell you another thing that happened recently. A gentleman gave a cop the finger, which he is allowed to do, and I don't want to hear, buddy, that's a dick move. Use of force is not affected by being a dick. That is what people don't understand. Anyway, I kind of gave it away what happened there. He pepper sprayed somebody in the face because he gave him the finger. There is nowhere in Article 35, which is our justification of use force laws, that says anything about, but unless they are being a dick. It's not in there. And it doesn't even say unless they're being a dick to cops. It's not in there. Don't look for it. And you get people defending it by saying, well, no, Rob, you're just a cop basher. See, they didn't spray him because he gave him the finger. They sprayed him because he was resisting. He was resisting a bullshit charge. And in addition, this fucking sickens me as well. In New York, you have to submit. I shit you not. You have to submit by law to an illegal arrest. It fucking says that. It actually says, unlawful arrest or not, you have to submit to it if a fucking cop tells you to. Fuck that. No. You understand how many police impersonators we have out there that are dressing up, ISIS people that are dressing up, they put on a fucking blue shirt and a fucking piece of tin, now they're a fucking cop. So you could have a fucking cop, and here, we're going to be racist towards another fucking group today, because we're going to piss everybody off. You could have a fucking cop with a big fucking turban on his head that fucking is wearing a fucking Islamic crescent saying, Oh, hey, pretty lady, how you doing? Hey, pretty lady, you come over here. You'll be under arrest. I got the whip at my house. And you'd have to fucking submit to this motherfucker, because even an unlawful arrest by somebody that you reasonably believe to be a law enforcement officer, you know the courts are going to side with the cops on that one, you have to submit to a fucking arrest. That is the most bullshit law I have ever fucking seen in my entire fucking life, and it's actually part of New York law, so I shouldn't be fucking surprised there. But anyway, so this guy that pepper sprayed this guy, they called it resisting arrest. No, that's why he got sprayed. He was resisting arrest. He was resisting a bullshit arrest that wasn't resisting arrest until you made up the charge on the spot. They called the actual charge that, well, not flipping him off, they called it disturbing the peace, because he knew that he was kind of in hot water. Speaking of which, that video that I mentioned before where the guy got shot 7 times in the back, the cop went over and placed his taser on the dead body to make it look like he did something, like he went for his taser and all that stuff, the regular going for my gun, never heard that one before, going for my gun. I thought he was reaching for my gun. Jeez, it's like they're reading off of a fucking playbook. There is a serious, serious problem in this country with the police and in general with the citizens. There's lots of reasons. Lack of parenting, a horrific education system, poverty, this and that. There's plenty of issues that need to get fixed there, and they're just as fucked up. But stop ignoring this side. It's fucking asinine to hear the people keep defending cops when there is a serious issue going on in this country with these fucking people. So I'll post in the comments already. I'll get the first couple comments on there, which you know you're going to get whenever you post something that's not towing the cop party line, or potentially racist. We'll get both sides with this video. You're a fucking fat ass, you're a loser, you live in your parents' basement, that's why you got a fucking AC up there, because basements can have ACs. I've heard the same excuse, the same nonsense repeated over and time down. I'll save you posting them in the comments. If you have anything intelligent to say, like perhaps, hey, you know, I agree, here's some things we might be able to do different on the cop side of things, here's some things we need to do different on the civilian side of things, feel free to post in the comments, because you know, I haven't posted in a while. It was kind of interesting getting this all out there, but I want to hear your thoughts on this issue. Are you getting sick of everybody blindly defending these people, blindly defending the people that are burning down the city, saying, well, you know, it's racist, so, you know, that's their right? Are you getting sick of the people blindly defending the cops because a dangerous job, this, that, and the other thing? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, thoughts from the YouTube community, because generally what happens is the left is the one that'll say, well, you know, they were being racist, so, you know, they have every right to protest. The right will the one that'll suck the cops' assholes no matter what. That's a clear trend, and because I'm libertarian, I'm in the middle, so I get it fucking from both sides, and it's fucking ridiculous. So, welcome back. I have to figure out how to edit this video now, because it's on my Samsung Galaxy. Honestly, I don't even know what's recording. I might have been talking to myself for this last 30 minutes here. So, thanks for watching, guys, and take it easy.